I will download it on my real machine. That's the site of xampp. Actually, you just write down download xampp. The first link you're gonna see is to download xampp. Here it is. Now, it's not always the best idea to get the latest version actually, because the xampp is combination, as you see here. It's a combination between Apache, MySQL, which actually is the free version of MySQL, which is MariaDB, Perl, and PHP for the backend, and some other things also. And it's the X stands for a cross-platform. That means it's available, as you see, for Linux, for Mac OS X, and so on and so forth. Now, before this, there were other, they're still in use. Some people still are using them. WAMP was the same concept, but for Windows. MAMP for Macintosh, LAMP for Linux, and so on and so forth. Nowadays, you could even see even more strange combination. It depends on the people who are using it and for what. You could see instead of Apache Nginx inside, and so on and so forth. So xampp is one of the most popular, and we're going to use it actually. And since we're going to use some applications which are not the newest one, and since this one is a combination between the PHP, MySQL, and Apache, it doesn't work with all the versions combined together. So that's why they mixed it in specific versions. And I would say it's a little bit better to, instead of downloading the latest one, actually to download the oldest one. So to be sure all the application will work. Okay, so that's what I'm going to download. Normally what we do, we download the newest ones, but this time we're going to download the oldest one. And that's my xampp. Now I will take it from the downloads folder. Usual way, I'll put it into my desktop here, and then I will just install it. I'll try to install it from my computer. If it doesn't work right away out of the computer, let me just put the link also here. It's a good idea, you guys, to hit the link. Okay, I'll put the xampp link here. And of course we need to put here, yesterday I need to add, for this one I need to say this is the sign 7. You have it already actually. So that's these are the things we will use for now. Okay, so here's the xampp. Let's indeed let's open our well, we need it wherever will be our web server, so it will be in the DMZ obviously. I spoke with some of you guys before. There was a question how to troubleshoot you know, not pinging from within the you know, your infrastructure you created already. Sometimes you could ping first. You could start pinging actually from the firewall itself, just to be sure if the firewall is properly set it up. So basically, you need to go to interfaces. You need to go to ping, to diagnostics actually, and all the tools to diagnose all the interfaces are here, like traceroute. You have also ARP table to see the ping is here as well, and you could ping first by name. Choose the IP version 4 protocol. Now you could play with this thing, and you could start pinging first from your one. So you need to be sure that you are able to ping from the one. And as you see, it's pingable by name. If it's not pingable by name, then you could ping by IP address, which is well known. You could ping like this, and eventually when you see a reply, that means you have a DNS issue. If it not, for me, as you see, it's perfectly working. If I try to ping the same now, but this time if I try to ping it from the LAN, let's see, Very nice. I have reply from the LAN interface as well. And the last thing is from the DMZ. So that means, as you see, that means the resolver which is within the firewall, which resolves names to IP addresses, working perfectly. And because it's accessing also the sites, that means also it has connectivities from all the interfaces. That means my firewall is in a perfect shape. That's something you need to do beforehand, so to be sure that everything is fine. Now, from the DMZ, that's my DMZ, let's ping Google. Okay, you see, it doesn't work. Anyway, could not find the host Google. Let's ping now 8.8.8. That might be a DNS issue, right? Well, you see, it's not a DNS issue. Indeed, actually, the firewall blocks the ping by default. It's blocking it. So if I would like to allow it, I need to go and to do something on the firewall rules. I need to allow the ping to propagate. So ICMP I need to allow. That's what it is. We'll do it after this. So that's why from the DMZ, you're not able to ping. This is the reason. You need to allow it in the firewall. As opposed to this, if I open my domain controller, which is on my LAN, okay? So what I'm doing at the moment, I pinged first from the firewall, and then I pinged from this computer, which is in my DMZ zone. Now I'm gonna ping from this one, which is in my LAN. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do now. So if I open it, and I ping Google, now as you see, I ping it. I don't need even to ping it now by IP address, because obviously it's pingable. So what it means, the LAN, when you work with opnsense, it differs with the different firewalls. ASA works different way, Checkpoint works different way, pfSense maybe work different way, and so on and so forth. There are a million of firewalls out there. So you need to check with everyone. opnsense, by default, blocks the ICMP propagation into the DMZ zone and allows it in the LAN. Okay? So that's how it works. That's something you need to remember. If you have a ping on your firewall, as I showed, but you're not able to ping from within, from the LAN, that means there is something which is wrong with the connection in between. And you need to start pinging by your host, then pinging your default gateway, and you're gonna find out where most probably the problem is. Don't forget, you need to ping by name, then you need to ping by IP address. If by name is not pingable, the IP address is pingable, that means something. If you could check also what's the IP address range. If it's 169 range, that means something else, and so on and so forth. Be sure, guys, you're gonna be able to troubleshoot all of these things. Any questions here? So it's a pretty straightforward installation, just next, and it's creating the XAMPP folder into C. And most of the files which we're gonna use to interact with the system afterwards, although it has a very nice organized graphical interface of working with the system as well. Well, the configuration files still are needed, and all of them will be here in this folder, as you see. Okay. And indeed, it's asking me now, do I want to start? Yes, I want the control panel to be started. It's a very nice graphical tool. It's asking which language to use. I don't know German, so I'm going to use I'll use the English, and that's how it looks. All of the features actually are here. Okay, so if I would like to start some of them, I just click start on it, and Apache actually, as you see, it's starting. Now you could receive an error. If you receive an error in your documentation here, you have the way how to fix it. It's very easy. So when you check here the XAMPP and DVWA, it will be explained how to do it. Okay. And also I'm going to start MySQL. And indeed my stack has been installed. If I open now the browser here, and if I write down localhost, that's what I see. That's the page which is pre-installed there. And from here, actually, I could access the database, which is my SQL base. Well, it's MariaDB, as you see. we'll do something for this after. What I want now to be sure is that I am able to access it from my virtual machine first. So from my DC, I need to be sure I'm gonna be able to access it. So let's open the firewall. So that will be the firewall, just to have it because we need to do some stuff after. Well, we could use it, of course, from our real computer too. It's good to check it all the time locally as well. The other one we need is 192. 201 is my CentOS server, so I'm not gonna see a display of this because the CentOS server is not on. And I'm gonna do the same, but this time I'm gonna change 200 to 201 to 200, since that's my, and as you see, I'm accessing the Apache. So what I need to do further is to be sure that I'm gonna allow the traffic to go from the same way as did yesterday. So we'll go from the real computer. I'm gonna be able to access the new site which I just created. So I'll go to firewall here. Aliases. First, I'm gonna duplicate this alias. It's very easy. You have this in the middle, which is for copy. I'll click on this one to copy it. I'll call this new web access. It will be for host, and in that case, instead of this, I'll put the new one, 192.168. By the way, let's try an alternative way. So let's go to the alias, and instead of creating one, let's just actually edit this one, and let's add the other one, 192.168.200.200. Okay, and let's save it. So you see now I don't need to do anything. I just created in my alias, I just created a new address. And actually it's already in my, you know, in my, it is already there into, you know, what I need to do indeed though now is to, I need to create a new host because it's, yeah, it won't work this way because it is, we need to create a separate, it's not a pool, we cannot do this. It will be on a port base, so we need to create a new one. So I'm gonna just copy this one, I'll call it new. As I started, and I'm gonna delete this one, I'll put the other one, 192.168.200.200. I would need to create a new a rule also here when I go to the NAT, port forward. I will copy this rule the same way I did, but in that case I'm gonna change this to, let's say, 9 at the end. I'll put 9 at the end. So that's the reason I cannot use it as a pool of IP address. I need to use something different then, not the port forward. All the other thing will remain the same, obviously. So let me just double check here. I need to click on the advanced. Yeah, we have this one, HTTP. The good thing is, okay, we need to change here where it says web access. We need to change it to the new web access. Okay, and we have the new port which we designed it. We don't need to change the one address because wherever it's on the one address, wherever will be here in the one, doesn't matter which will be the real value, it will work. So we need to say save now. Don't forget we need to apply the changes. And that was the old one. What I will change now, I'll just put a 9 at the end. And I'm gonna see this up. So that's how it works. So as you see, guys, I just very easily created, I've created very easily away from my real computer, like from internet, me to access the other web server which is there. Okay, very easily. We'll stop now the movie, guys.